Hello, friends. Hello, friends. A tradition unlike any other.
Oh, my goodness. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
There it is! Adam Scott, a life changer. Mashed potato!
Here it comes.
This is the 19th Tee podcast. Kieran Marsh and Nathan Drudy back with you swiftly. Drudy doesn't stop. We have just got off the back of the Ryder Cup, catching up on a bit of sleep, and we turn our attention now to Perth, where the Australian summer gets underway in earnest with the WA Open. It's exciting to have Aussie golf back in your woods this weekend, mate.
It is, yeah. This is, well, I mean, you know, we've had a little bit of a taste. We've had the entree, I guess you could say, with the NTPGA. We've had a tournament up in PNG, which was months ago now. But we're finally back. Things are cooking, and we've got, you know, a good 7 or 8 weeks of golf before we have a little break over Christmas. But yeah, excited to be back. Excited that the WA Open's heading to Joondalup. First time in quite a long time. I think it was the late 80s, first time, the last time that it's been up there. So this is going to be a good one. Looking forward to it.
So we're probably going to lean on you for a bit of local knowledge here. I've obviously played out at Joondalup. You did me dirty that day. It was pretty humbling for me the day you took me out to Joondalup for one of our one-on-ones. But it's a course that you're very familiar with, played a number of times, and we've probably alluded to it a little bit kind of in our forward throws to this tournament, that it's not overly fan-friendly.
Yeah,
but certainly will ask a lot of questions, I think, of the field. So talk to me as if I'm someone who's never been to Joondalup. What can people expect out of this tournament this weekend in the sense of what the course and how the course is going to play and the type of questions it's going to ask the field?
Well, I first and foremost, I mean, this is behind Lake Karrinyup. I mean, you could make a case that this is the second best course here in WA. 27 holes, June, Quarry and Lake. We're playing the Quarry and Lake 18. Most people would say that the June Quarry is the best 18, but we've gone Quarry Lake. In terms of what can we expect, I mean, Joondalup has very large greens, very big greens. It's Robert Trent Jones design, very big greens, and they're going to be very quick. You know, I've played at Joondalup the week before Club Champs has been on, and they are lightning. They are big. They have got a lot of slope in them. So people with a good short game and good with the flat stick in hand are gonna go really well this week. It's not an immensely long course in parts. I mean, there's stretches where it does get long. I think it tips out at 6,500 meters. But there's some real key parts to this. So we're off the Quarry, the Quarry 9, and to your point, sorry, I'll just talk on the fact that it's not super friendly for spectators. I mean, you're probably going to have to just pick up a group and follow a group around, and that's going to be your best bet of seeing the whole course. Particularly the front 9, you can't really post up anywhere and see sort of multiple holes coming back and forth or sneak across because there's literally a quarry in the middle. The Lake 9, you can kind of do so a little bit more and sort of jump around different places, but your best bet is going to be picking a group and heading out. It's a really going to be a really good test, I think, for a lot of guys because we haven't played this course for a long time. As I said, last time I think was the late 80s. So this is going to be a real interesting test, and there will be some important stretches that invite players to make decisions. I think of number 11 which is the second on the Lake 9. It's only 300 meters long, so a lot of guys will be able to get there. But on the right hand side, it literally drops off a cliff. So if you miss, that's it. It's gone. OB. So there's going to be multiple decisions like that. The fourth hole on the front nine is a long par 5 with a bunker that's more of a sand dune than anything. So there's going to be interesting decisions to be made throughout this throughout the rounds. So yeah, that's sort of a picture of what Joondalup looks like. It's a visually stunning course. I mean, if you want to go back and have a look, you can check out on YouTube where me and Marshy played. It's a good day. It was a little bit Ludwig and Victor Hovland 9 and 7 gear about that one. I think it was over on 13, wasn't it? From memory.
Yeah, it was. It was an all-time poor performance from me.
It's a visually stunning golf course. I mean, up on the green of 13, you've got views of the Indian Ocean. It is a really, really stunning golf course, and I know that the guys out there will have it tricked up big time. We tried to play there last week actually, and they said not a chance in hell. And so they are getting this in tip-top shape for come Thursday. I mean, it's probably Thursday by the time this comes out, so it's going to be game on, KM, and the greens are going to be quick.
So I'm just looking here. No, it does. It does. It's not like a super long course.
No,
but it is asking some questions of length. Like you've got a number of par 3s over 200 meters or close to 200 meters. So like they're longer iron par 3s, and then obviously you've got your par 5s, one of which got a 511, the 8th.
Yeah.
Here, which is long, but I love the fact that we finish on a par 5. So 488 finish on a par 5, which will be, I think, important in the context of a close finish if we have one coming home, is the opportunity to chase some shots. Now, you've got a 200-meter par 3 on the 17, so you might need to chase some shots because you may have leaked some on the previous hole, but I love that. And then the other one I just want to kind of point out is, and I might, because my memory is a bit foggy, I've actually tried to erase it from my mind the day that we played, but par 4 15th, 305, drivable.
Yeah.
Based on length alone. But is it the type of hole that you would foresee a lot of these guys taking on off the tee?
Well, it is a genuine risk reward hole. I mean, I'm looking at it on Google Maps now. If you miss, you're in the bunkers. I mean, the green is peppered by bunkers. And the other thing that Joondalup probably has a lot of as well is that that a lot of other courses may not have is like, I call them land bunkers, but they're just big swales that are taken out. I mean, you might remember the 12th, the par 3 that has massive bunkers on one side, and if you miss on the other side, it just goes down into like a quarry almost. So yeah, to your point, going back 14, I mean, I would suggest you're probably going to see a lot of guys go for it, based on length alone. I mean, the guys are going to get close even if they don't have a driver in hand. They might have a 3-wood or something like that. So, there's plenty of opportunities to have a genuine crack. I mean, 18. Thank you for calling that out. It's one of the great finishing holes I think we do have here in WA. It's 488 on the card, downhill tee shot down towards the water on the left hand side, and I guarantee you that pin will be tucked in behind the water on Sunday afternoon as we're coming down the stretch, and inviting someone to have a go over the water and onto the green and have a look for eagle, because it's definitely makeable. If I myself can have an eagle putt on there, still 3-putted for par, but if I myself can have an eagle putt, these guys will all be having eagle putts. There'll be plenty of them going around. So yeah, there's a couple of critical key holes, and 18 will be one of them.
And I love that. You've got a drivable par 4, a par 3, and a par 5 finish 3 of your last 4 holes. So, there's opportunities galore to score if you need to on the run home. So, look, it'll be wildly entertaining, I think, and we'll take a look at some of the names who've hit the entries in just a moment. But it's one of those ones where, to your point, given a lot of guys will be sight unseen, hitting some practice, hitting their first balls at Joondalup in practice rounds and lead into it this week, you may tend to defer to a couple of WA-based players, but there's plenty of opportunities on that course for birdies. So, I wouldn't discredit anyone getting over there and going on a run, much like we know a lot of the guys in the field can. So, how are you looking weather-wise, Drews?
Yeah, good question.
Obviously, the considerations are dryness and heat as it relates to travelling over to Perth.
Yeah, very good question, because it's going to be warm. So we've only had, I think, the one day over 30 so far, and we're set for Friday is going to be 32 and Saturday is going to be 35. Cooling, a little bit on the Thursday and the Sunday, but no rain forecast, which is good, and it's going to be windy as well. And to me, that tells me it's going to dry out. So I reckon the boys are going to have the water on each morning. I would suggest. I reckon they're going to be putting plenty of water into the greens to try and ensure that they don't get baked out too much. But beautiful weather. It's going to be nice and hot, nice and warm. So if you are heading out there, make sure that you are protected from the elements.
And then just briefly before we take a look at the field, in terms of coverage, so back on KO, the Summer of Golf, back on KO for 2023-24, as was tradition for these kind of tournaments that aren't, and I say this with the greatest respect to our friends at the WPGA and WA Golf and Joondalup, but it's not either the Australian Open or the Australian PGA. So it will defer back to Saturday, Sunday coverage. So you won't get any of rounds 1 or 2 on the telly, but you will get rounds 3 and 4 Saturday, Sunday on KO. So if you are in the daylight savings states on the East Coast, Victoria, New South Wales, because we've obviously transitioned to that marvellous time of the year where Queensland winds it back to 1980, which is fantastic. So for our listeners in Victoria, New South Wales, Tasmania, or the Australian Capital Territory, Saturday 2:30 to 5:30 on KO, Sunday midday to 5:30. If you're in South Australia, in that neat little pocket of the half-hour difference, Saturday 2 to 5 p.m, Sunday midday to 5 p.m. For my good friends here in the Sunshine State, Saturday 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. in Queensland, Sunday 12:30 to 5:30. For all of our listeners up in the NT, 2 to 5 p.m. Saturday, 12 to 5 p.m. Sunday. And then if you're in Western Australia, I sure should hope you're at the course. Because we need to support these events with your feet. But if for whatever reason you are tuning in on KO, Saturday, 11:30 to 2:30, Sunday, 9:30 in the morning through to 2:30 in the afternoon. They are your coverage windows for the WA Open. Droots, take us through the field. What a couple of names sticking out to you here.
Well, it's a big field, obviously, but
it's massive.
The category one, of course, order of merit winners, Jake McLeod, Brett Rumford, I think they're the headliners, no doubt. Louis Dobler, Coletta, Batista, Becker, who was a WA Open winner a couple of years back. Jay McKenzie won the WA PGA a couple of years back as well. Harrison Crowe, of course. Our good friend Pikey, Phelps, Blake Windred. I mean, there's some good names in here. Laurie Flynn, Elvis Smiley, Marcasani. There are some really, really good names in and amongst all of this massive field, and a good contingent of Western Australians, as you would certainly imagine, and a lot of amateurs as well. That we know those names, Jai Pickin, just to name a couple, Joe Buttress, Connor Fuchs. There's plenty of names, and then you can continue scrolling down. I mean, it all continues. Plenty of friends of the show, Joshy Armstrong, Brett Rankin. So I'm not going to sit here and read every single person that's on the list, but there's a great number of people involved. Who do you like, Marshy? Are there any ones that you think may be a good chance?
Look, there's probably a couple that that stand out to me as I'm scrolling down. I like James Marquezani, obviously come off the back of that victory at the DP World Tour Q School event in Victoria in recent weeks. I'm very keen to see Elvis Smiley. We haven't seen Elvis for a little while, and I get the sense that this is the type of summer where he'll want to make a bit of a move. He needs to start to separate himself from the field if there are those greater aspirations of travelling abroad and playing his golf across Europe and potentially even the US. So keen to see him. I do wonder though, and I kind of flagged this a little while back based on a little bit of stuff that I'd seen. I'm really keen to see, and I'm going to pin my name to him this weekend. I think Matt Van Cliff is the guy that I'm really keen to see based on, I kind of flagged it a couple of weeks. He's been doing a lot of work in the gym with our good friend Matt Winkley at WinkFit. He's been doing a fair bit of work with, seemingly with Jamie Glazier and the team on his mental game. And he's been taking some cash off some fellow Queenslanders in midweek money games. So I think he's in the right sort of headspace. He's looking trim. He's seemingly just come off the back of Jared Felton's Bucks party on the weekend. So I'm for that reason, and I say it with the greatest respect, I'm probably going to put a line through Jared for this one. But I reckon my good mate Matt Van Cliff is for me the one I'm very keen to see, who I think might do things. Nice. And then the only one thing I'll say, I'll sound like I'm hedging my bets here. I'm super keen to see how Harrison Crowe goes. This is obviously his first event as a pro with that decision only in the last fortnight. And I get the sense it could be a big summer for him in totality. So, yeah, the first start as a pro is always a good one to watch. And I think he's projecting great form for the summer ahead. So we'll keep an eye on him in the Black Book too.
So I'm putting you down for Matt Van Cliff. That's where you're locked in. Yes,
please. I'm locked in for Matt Van Cliff, please.
Okay.
Who do you like?
I've got a long list, KM. Got a long list. I think Brett Rumford, no doubt. I think the short game obviously going to be very, very important, and there's arguably no better short game than Rummy at the minute on the Aussie Tour. So he gets a little nod. Braden Becker has won a WA Open. And he's a WA boy, so has played here plenty, and that's going to be important. Anyway, I'm not going to read any more. I am going to go for a guy who's one of the longest hitters on tour that I think can make real advantage of a course that maybe is on just a touch on the shorter side of things, and that's going to be Josh Armstrong. So played pretty well last year. I know that he was working on a few things when I caught up with him this time last year at the WA Open. And I'll just be really interested to see how he goes. So, I'll take Josh this week.
It's a good pick. And we've left a lot of decent names on the board too. So that's, I think, a real nod to the depth in this field. It's always probably, it's not the first tournament of the season.
No.
But to your point earlier, it's really the first tournament of the summer in earnest.
Yeah.
And this is always people feeling each other out, feeling themselves out, to be honest, and finding where their games are after a long bit of work, whether you've been doing that overseas or at home. So, I think it's fascinating to see where kind of people land after these, hopefully 4 days for many and it'll be 2 days for some, but we get a good indication of where the field's at, noting that there's plenty of other guys around the world doing good things too. So it's a good pick. I'll see how we go with Mav and Josh. We'll endeavour, as we always will each and every week, to speak to the winner. We'll come back on Monday evening, Druids, to wrap up this event. And as I said, endeavour to speak to the winner. And that's kind of the regular cadence we'll get ourselves into now. We'll do a kind of Wednesday, Thursday preview of the event coming up that weekend. And then Monday night we'll be back in your ears to wrap it all up and hopefully have some words with the eventual winner of that tournament. So plenty happening across what is a busy summer, as we know, and we're thrilled to be back into it in earnest, back on a regular schedule of programming and back in your ears each and every week. Pleasure to have your company, Druids. Enjoy golf in your neck of the woods this weekend.
Exciting.
It'll be great. We look forward to your reports from on the ground and next Monday night as well. Pleasure as always, my friend.